NASA found evidence of extraterrestrial life in the 1970s, according to a former senior scientist, and ignored it. The Viking landing modules were sent to the Martian surface more than 40 years ago, with the aim of exploring the planet. They included an experiment known as Labeled Release, or LR, that was intended to look for signs of life on the planet. The results came in 1976, and seemed to indicate that something was happening on the surface. Gilbert V. Levin, an engineer and inventor who was the principal investigator of the experiment, has now written a long article arguing that these findings were signs of life on Mars, which were ignored by NASA. On July 30, 1976, the LR returned its initial results from Mars, Levin wrote in an article for Scientific American. Surprisingly, they were positive. As the experiment progressed, a total of 4 positive results, backed by 5 varied controls, were transmitted from the landing module of the Viking twin spacecraft some 4,000 miles away. Data indicated the detection of microbial respiration on the red planet. The curves of Mars were similar to those produced by the LR tests of soils on Earth. But NASA's experiments failed to find organic matter, the physical matter of life itself, not just the indications of microbial respiration that the LR experiment discovered. That meant that NASA concluded that the LR results came from a substance that mimicked life but was not really life itself. Since then, NASA has not conducted a similar experiment focused on examining whether the Martian habitat could be a suitable home for alien life. Levin argues that these findings actually suggest that there is extraterrestrial life on Mars. And he asked that NASA perform the same type of experiments again, bringing an altered version of the LR experiment to Mars on the next possible trip. And he asked that scientists be summoned to examine those findings of more than 40 years to see if they really were proof of life on Mars. A very objective jury could conclude, as I did, that the Viking LR found life, Levin wrote, because in 43 years NASA has never sent life detection instruments to Mars. Is this a cover-up?